I can count the number of people that have finished this form on one hand. My teacher who taught me this, he's like, make your own Kung Fu. It should be Sonny Kung Fu and this Kung Fu. But for the Dabe, he was like, don't change it. Hi, and welcome. Today, we're going to go over the Bei Quan. We're actually going to learn the first 6 moves of the Bei Quan. We're going to practice them together. I'm going to go over some of the important points of each of the moves. So if this is a form and a style that you're interested in, you can start practicing it, start experiencing the movements, start getting the benefits of this practice. The Bei Quan is not a common practice. It's not a common form. The name translates to the Great Compassionate Fist. It is in reference to the Bei Sutra, the Bei Jo, but the practice itself is a physical practice that we do. It's a sequence of 63 movements that you do in order that really work to open and close the body. It was developed in the 20th century by a monk that wanted to take his physical experience, the arts that he had practiced, things he had learned, and then after he left the temple, he began teaching this to people in Beijing. And so it spread a little bit, but not that much because it only was one teacher's art. And so there's some teachers teaching it. My teacher teaches in New York, but not all from the same lineage. So it's a really great form, and it's something that I really enjoy sharing because it does represent this sort of integration, synthesis, and a person's expression of the art in a very interesting way that can be beneficial for a lot of martial artists. we want to focus on really core concepts. First of all, the Dui law of the body, which is the opposing pulls, the opening and closing that centers around your middle, but that is also present in all the joints within the idea of Kai He. So really, that's it. Kai He, open and close, Dui la, right? That opposing pulls of the body. So how big you open and close is up to you and how you're feeling. Remember, we're looking for creating balance in our practice, not forcing range of motion. This is meant to help open up and restore balance to our movement. So let's get started. So the first move is Guan Yin He Zhang. You're gonna stand in a Wuji stance, feet underneath your hips, underneath your shoulders. And Guan Yin He Zhang translates as the Buddha of compassion, joints, or palms. Many of the names have connections to sort of Buddhist culture history. So Guan Yin He Zhang is this. The palms lift up to the height of the solar plexus and then back down with this gentle cupping. We lift them up to the sides, height of the shoulders, and when they get to the height of the shoulders, you're gonna soften the elbows and draw them in towards the body. And then press them out, gazing towards the right. And feel that little stretch come through the fingertips into the wrist, all the way back into the shoulders and in the torso. Then from here, we scoop up, bringing the fingertips together. Then we draw down through center line. And then when we get to the center of the chest, overturn the fingers. And then the whole body sinks and reaches down. So this is Guan Yin He Zhang. And it's a move that you can just repeat if you wanted to. We can go right up and back down. Softening as we come in with a little sink. Expanding, turning the head. Following the hands up, fingertips together, drawing down, overturning, and into the ground. Now, this first move, we can link our breath with it. After this one, let the breath flow smoothly in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we move forward. But for this one, the phases of the movement and the breath can link, but after this, let them just sort of find their own way. That's a concept that's pretty important in the form. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So after this move, your movement and your breath is pretty lined up. We can sort of just relax, let the movement go, let the breath go. This way, they can both grow together, right? It doesn't always need to be exactly linked up. There's a lot of different reasons why we might exhale with one move or inhale with another, or even switch that pattern. So once we have set the first, just lining up, working together, observing both, let them flow. Don't try to force the phase of the breath with any specific move. Just let it happen naturally, okay? So let's do that move one more time, and then we're gonna move on to the second move. So Guan Yin He Zhang. Inhale, lifting the palms to the solar plexus. Exhale, release. Feel that sort of scooping with the hands. Inhale. Softening at the elbows. Exhale, reaching, turning the head. Inhale, lifting. Fingertips together. Exhaling down. Overturn, and everything sinking down through the feet. So that's the first move, Guan Yin He Zhang. Movement 2, grinding palm or grinding body palm, Mo Shin Zhang or Mo Zhang, depending how you want to translate it. So the hands are here, and you're going to grind them together right over left so that they come to the height of the waist. So here they're below the waist. You kind of grind together until the hands are now at the height of the waist, and the elbows are pointing east and west. So feel that shape, feel the connections to the shoulders. And as they grind, you're gonna create a gentle grip with the thumb to the pinky side edge, and the thumb to the pinky side edge, and the pinky to the thumb, and the pinky to the thumb, right? So you feel the grip of the hand. So here, grip. So now you've got that little grip into your hand. We shift the weight, turn the waist, and open to here, so that you feel you have your weight behind you, and this foot is ready to shift into. And then we shift, gather, and lift into position. And so here we want to feel a sort of drawing in as we lift. So we turn, close, lift, and draw in to the body a little bit. Because as we go in the next move, we're going to want to expand out. So something that's interesting with the Dabe, and this is true of all forms really in Chinese martial arts, and this is a bit of the translation. There is more than one move in a move, right? Because the term is not really, it's more of form. Each specific thing, Guanyin He Zhang, is a form. Grinding palm is a form. The next one we do is a form. And so how many movements are within a form are going to be different. And there's little things happening, the scooping, the lifting, the pushing, right? Those are movements, those are motions to create the entire form. So within the sequence, some forms will have just a few movements. Some forms will have quite a bit. So grinding palm, only one simple transition and one lift. So intentionally making that connection at center, turning, transitioning, shift, contract, and feel ready to expand. So from here, we're going to go into the next move, right? The next move. So the third move is called San Cha Jue. You can translate this as like the song of the trident, or it's a reference to, like I said, Buddhist culture, some of those Buddhist stories. So from here, we reach forward and back, trying to connect to the horizon, front and back, and then drop the foot. That was a little less in control than I would have liked because I was talking a lot, but we want to drop in as much control as possible. So as you reach out, find that extension, and then lower. Now, when you lower, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw yourself back to upright. And while you've done that, you've still got your grinding palm, and you notice my back heel. So you got a strong hip right here. Then you're going to open the hands by ungrinding them and place the back heel down, coming into a more traditional bow stance, reaching out, okay? So, works the legs. Okay, so here, up, reach it out, place it down, draw back, reach out, lean out, pull in, and here, press down, you're in your waist. Shift across, close the back foot, lift to here. So just as I was saying, some moves have just one move, and other moves have a lot. This is one that has a lot. So this is move 3, San Cha Jue. I'm gonna walk you through it at a high position so we can see those points of the move, and then we'll talk about getting this one lower, because this is one of the first challenges, another challenge right here. So here, we reach that out, find the connection. Find this upright lunge position, walk in your bow stance. Lean here so you can feel more of the mass come to here, empty it out, pull it back in to sink. Shift, close the back leg, lift it up. So now you've transitioned that whole circular shape that you created from one side to the other. And we're still not quite done. So from here, the left hand is going to open into the Sancha mudra, okay? The right hand changes into the sword fingers. These are our shou yin, right? In the Chinese arts. So from here, they open here. And it's like you're checking your pulse. This hand goes back to the shoulder. So I'm gonna face this way so you can see it. So I've transitioned through and I open and pull back to the shoulder. Sword fingers, Sancha, to here. This gives more intention and direction out to the hands, and you're in this position. Now from here, you allow this to naturally rotate back. Don't over twist. Let it just raise up over the body. Keep that back heel down. Keep your sword fingers into your shoulder, into your opposite shoulder. So from here, we open. Feel that nice reach. And then when you feel everything tucked in, move forward, pull back to the waist, pierce out, drop down, try to maintain your balance. Then here, release to come back to the top. And then here we are, we finished that whole Sancha Jue, okay? So going this direction from millstone. Here, Sancha. Connect back and forth. Reach, lean. Gather, shift, find that circle. Draw forward. Point to the horizon, release, connect to the hands. Now this is sort of that lifting, so you feel there. So there, movement 3, Sancha Jue. You can find this really, really extreme, or you can just look there, finding the connection front and back, finding the clear opening and closing. So you notice this is a much more upright version, not really creating those big opening and closes. So each person to their own level, each person to how you're working in the form. It took me a long time to be able to get the opening and closing and stay in those single leg postures. But this form is great for challenging your motion, challenging your balance, and improving it. All right, the next move in the Dabe is young monk lifts the alms bowl. And so we begin from here, the end of Sancha Jue. We lower a little bit and we're gonna do a little bit of a lifting kick. And so we lift and kick. So this is about more of kind of like a little bit of a release, you know? So it's like a kick. We wanna feel our hip action and then kick the leg up. So we lower, kick, and then lower the foot down in control, rotating into twisted stance. Lift, and then we're gonna lower all the way down in control. You can put the knee down, and we lower the head all the way to the knee. My teacher said, be very small. Just feel very, very small. And then when you're ready, lift, find your hips, and imagine you were lifting your hips up to this position. Okay, so we got this opening all the way from the top and down. Young monk lifts the alms bowl. All right, here's a quick tip on movement 4. When you get into this position right here and you turn, you want to feel this back leg squeeze into the front leg just a little bit. So when you're here, this back leg squeezes into the front leg as if you were pinning something between your legs. And so then you can actively control this position a little bit more and come up. This is the tip. Now, if you feel out of balance and you can't find that, don't twist. Step more into a lunge or even here, okay? And that is a compromise to the movement, a modification, but it's a compromise that we can use to get us to where we want to be. So we want to feel, as we turn, squeeze into the hips and actively draw yourself down. And then now, this is going to be more contained in your shape. And that's the strength that we want. And that as you come up, you transfer it out into the connection to this leg as well. So the Dabe is a great form for just building that strength from the ground up. So there's a few tips for a young monk lifts the alms bowl, because it's not an overly complicated move, but it's going to test your balance. It's going to test your leg strength. All right, movement 5 for the Dabe is stick to the body and lean. So we've finished our young monk lifts the alms bowl. We're going to lower the leg, internally rotating it like so. Then we're going to shift, turning the body so that now our weight is here and we're reaching that direction. And as we turn, I'm going to do that again from here. The hands come together. And this left arm is reaching down the body towards my foot. Then this right arm is going to come up to the shoulder, and you're going to do a little back bend. So from here, arch back, and then draw yourself back in, okay? So this is the stick to the body part. We come here, put it down, stick to the body, draw back to center, circle to step into holding the ball. Now here's lean. So we lean and open. So stick to the body and lean. Here, the weight is mostly forward. You got a good bow stance, palm up, palm down. So you feel that connection, and you're leaning forward here into the front position. So from young monk lifts the alms bowl, internally rotate, feel the connection between the legs, shift and turn. Feel that help you turn. A good reach down the side body, up, actively back bend, pull in. Here, turn the wheel, step, lean. There is stick to the body and lean. The last move we're going to work on today is called vanquishing the dragon. And it's one of the most challenging moves in the Dabe form. And I'm not saying I do it perfectly or I do it even at a well, but I do it. I do it a lot, I train it a lot, and it feels great on the body. And so this is a move that I view as like one of those, in most forms, there's going to be a few moves that are sort of iconic to the form eventually. If you look at Yang style, you're going to see, maybe think of single whip or their crane looking a certain way. If you think of Chen style, you think of their posture looking a certain way, or other arts as well. Bagua, you think of a shape, right? With Dabe, to me, this is one of the shapes that comes out. This vanquishing the dragon shape, which is a single leg standing back bend, sort of, or back arch that you're trying to create. And so let's look at it, because the thing with the Dabe is it's physical work. This is working our body. And so this is where we get the benefit from. So we've done stick to the body and lean. And so we're out here in this forward position. So we're going to transfer our stance through horse stance to bow stance on the other side. Okay? And as we do this, you see, I'm trying to get that feeling through the shoulders that I can then change the arms as well to here. So this wraps and presses, and this lifts and presses out. So I've got this position over here. Okay, so let's look at that transition. This is the beginning of it. So here we transition, boom, there we are. Now we reach here to define this line. This hand swoops down across the legs, and we follow it. Following it. Okay, so watch the path of the hands. This is going to help a lot. So here, and then the hands follow. And as the hands follow, I get myself moving forward over this leg. Now, the action is gonna be this, and then from the waist in the back, lift. So you try to get that arch lifting and looking up, and then we straighten it and step behind. Keeping here, grounding, here, pulling and embracing into position. So let's look at that again. Here, transition into this wrapping position. Dragon dives down. Close the wings, drive forward, lift. And then come through, step behind, do a little weight shift into this twisted position, and you're ready for the next move. Okay, so what tips do I have for you on vanquishing the dragon? It's a hard one. The tips I have are know your body, work to know your body, don't force it. Try to understand what muscles we're using, what postures we're using, what intention we're using to create that movement. One of the things about the Bei Quan is that we're removing any of this idea of like, hey, I'm grabbing somebody, I'm putting over here, and I'm gonna flip them over my head, right? We're getting rid of all that. We're just thinking, how are we moving our body around in these movements? And so that allows us to chew on more complicated, more challenging body movements. This is gonna be great for our focus. It's gonna be great for our body method when we go step into other areas, other aspects of our practice. So as we're coming through here, what we're looking for is a stabilization from that back foot that allows us to lift it, right? It's gonna come from your core, it's gonna come from your hip, it's gonna come from the connection in the groin even. And then once we've got that established, can we come to middle and find our posterior chain, right? It's just like like that, right? It's that energy that we're looking for as we get here that can come up, right? A little more controlled. So we can force it from the edges, but can we find it from our middle, opening and closing as well? And that's what the Bei really helps us do. It helps us slow down and open and close our movements and challenge our movements in different areas with different intention, okay? So this is vanquishing the dragon. Like I said, you can try for a more extreme version of this because that's gonna be beneficial, right? It's gonna work the body. Or you can work from just, can you develop an easier connection? Just get those gears logically moving together, and it's gonna be helpful for you. Have fun with it. Practice them, do them in sequence. Feel how the body responds to it. This is a part of all Chinese martial arts. You have to let your body go through the process a certain amount of time to get a little bit of momentum so you can start to observe the effect with a little bit more clarity.